Do scientific discoveries challenge the existence of God, or do scientific advances demonstrate the credibility of the Christian worldview? I'm joined today by Dr. Francisco Delgado, who is a Christian and a physician who specializes in infectious disease, to help unpack these questions. Paco, we've been talking in the last couple of episodes about the idea that as a Christian and as a man of science, you don't see conflict between science and the Christian faith. In fact, you see that there are discoveries from science that demonstrate the reality of God's existence. So let me ask the opposite question, if you will. Have there ever been scientific discoveries that it caused you to doubt your faith as a Christian?
There have been scientific discoveries that actually have made me rethink my interpretation of the biblical facts. To me, that is a source of encouragement because I believe that God is a God of truth. Therefore, it just tells me that I have not completely grasped the truth, but it is very exciting then to delve into the scientific part and see exactly what God is talking about in His Bible when He wrote it.
Okay, so then there's not ever been a discovery that you just look at it and say that insight scientifically is totally incompatible with a Christian worldview.
No, and I think that the only way that you could really invalidate the Christian worldview is if anybody was able to produce the body of Jesus.
In more general terms, has there ever been anything that has caused you to doubt or to question your faith as a Christian?
Not at all. There are difficulties, especially when it comes to the problem of suffering, of pain. There are many times that I will ask myself, why? Why is this happening? I may not have the answers, but I will always fall back to the fact that God is a good God. And I may not have the answers right now, and I may not have them in my lifetime, but I'm sure that when we get to heaven, I will be one of those in the first row saying, okay, God, why did this happen? I would like to understand.
Now, you work in the treatment of infectious diseases. So does that work ever prompt questions in your mind about pain and suffering?
Yes. The medical field really is essentially full of suffering, full of pain, and full of death. And it really makes me, it really allows me to approach people when they are in a more vulnerable position, to open up with these deep questions about life. I have heard wonderful people from whom I've learned a lot, and I hope I've been able to bring something to those people, at least a little bit of hope while they're going through that suffering.